welcome to Tea Time. I'm Chaiti Narula. We're at Unitech Golf Course in Noida. And the guest today on my show is an avid golfer. He spent 8 years of his career putting India Incorporated's golfers on the global map. He's now also taken up the additional responsibility of sponsoring good golfers to professional tours as well. Joining me today to discuss the IT sector in much detail, his passion for the green, on the green itself, is HR Srinivasan of Take Solutions.
On the show this week, we have HR Srinivasan, Vice Chairman and MD, Take Solutions.
Sports or art or culture doesn't succeed unless there is strong corporate interest in backing, where people commit themselves to developing either facilities or courses or players.
In news, Sergio Garcia wins the Thailand Golf Championship. And Van der Voort shot a 4 under 66 to win the Nelson Mandela Championship.
Mr. HR Srinivasan, welcome to Tea Time.
Thank you.
How long did you take up golf? How long have you been playing golf, rather?
From 2001, so it's 12 years now.
12 years, and you've spent 8 dedicated years spreading golf, putting India Incorporated's golfers on the global map as well. Tell me more about this endeavor.
Well, this is now the 9th year. Actually, we've completed 8. It started off as a small tournament with 80 golfers in Delhi.
Right.
And today we have more than 1,000 golfers participating across 5 cities for 2 people to go and represent India at the World Corporate Golf Challenge, which is a tournament of corporate golf of Commonwealth countries. It's a very prestigious event, and India has been doing well over the last 6 years at least. All our teams have finished in the top 5, and in 2008 we were winners at the World Final in Spain. So corporate golf has come a long way.
So this is a personal endeavor of sorts. Is this personal passion for golf that is driving you to spend so many dedicated years trying to promote? What is it about golf that excites you, that makes you do so much for the sport?
Well, personal passion is certainly a part of it.
Absolutely.
And any sport, when it has to succeed, corporate interest has to come in. Sports or art or culture doesn't succeed unless there is strong corporate interest in backing, where people commit themselves to developing either facilities or courses or players. And so our first idea was to bring more and more corporates into the game of golf.
Right.
And this was a wonderful way to do it.
All right, so shifting focus a little bit from the green to talking about the IT sector in much detail now. The spending in IT, which is for 2014, is pegged to rise steadily in India, given the macroeconomic conditions as well. We are seeing that there will be, most reports are suggesting that there will be an increase in amount of spending. Now, does this give hope to a company like Take Solutions in a market which is dominated by larger multinational players?
So Take Solution is a very differentiated player. So we work only in 2 areas. One is life sciences, where we support the pharmaceutical R&D.
Right.
And the other is supply chain, where we support manufacturing and distribution companies. The life science sector or the pharmaceutical R&D is relatively, let's say, it's not so much tied to macroeconomic factors, because people want to feel well and get well, and there's going to be money spent on pharma research always.
Absolutely.
So ours is a derived demand, and that curve is going up, so our demand for our specialized services is always going to go up. In that, we don't compete with any of the big players. The other area, which is supply chain, is really very closely linked to the economy. So it's more prone to the ups and downs. Currently, we're seeing an uptick. But I'd say that as we move ahead, life sciences is really going to be our area of growth.
You know, I'm going to touch upon that in more detail, but after I tee off.
Okay.
Gartner report is suggesting that the IT sector is expected to grow by 6% in 2014. This is largely driven by IT spends as well. How much is this in line with your estimates?
Generally in line with our estimate. We think that that's a very reasonable growth rate that's been projected. But really, as a company and as an individual, we wouldn't lend too much credence to 1 year's growth rates, because when you set up a company, when you're working in an industry, you need to look at a longer time horizon. So the fundamental thing to look at is there a basic demand
Right.
for the product or service that you are
Right.
providing? And what is the window? And how do you keep innovating? And that's where growth comes from. The macro factors are good to understand an overall scenario,
Right.
but you need to be a little more company specific, and that's what we look at doing.
So, Mr. Srinivasan, you play a good game of golf every now and then. But what about the tech matches that you're playing on an everyday basis with the rupee declining and the declining macroeconomic trends as well? Too many headwinds over fairways at the moment?
Yes and no. No in the sense that this is the same that prevails for everyone else, so you're not in a unique position. Yes, in the sense that you need to adjust for some of these headwinds and be very meticulous in the level of planning that you do. Fortunately for us, the rupee depreciation doesn't affect us too much.
Right.
We do a lot of business in the Western world, and much of our costs are also in the Western world, so we have a kind of a natural hedge
Right.
that is there. So, but otherwise there is certainly an expansion of the balance sheet, which is fine, which is what we have to live with.
All right, on that note, Mr. Srinivasan remaining cautiously optimistic in his stance vis-a-vis the IT sector. We will see you back in a few minutes. Take a break on Tea Time. That's a fabulous shot.
Nice shot.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Tea Time, and we're in conversation with Mr. HR Srinivasan of Take Solutions. Now, the domestic market in India is maturing.
Right.
It was one of the fastest growing markets of the year as well. What's your take on that?
Well, it is, but it's a very price-sensitive market. And Take Solutions as such, 98% of our revenue comes from export earnings. So I wouldn't argue that we are a big player in domestic market, but certainly in the life sciences area, especially for the pharmaceutical regulatory submissions, we now have a large practice with over 40 clients in India, and that we estimate will grow well as in time to come.
What is it about reforms that is lacking in this country today in the IT space?
Well, in the IT space, see, one thing is that it's been a great employment generator over the last maybe 10 or 15 years.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that was due to number of significant tax breaks that were there, which allowed companies to invest and in capacity ahead of time. Now, with a lot of these tax breaks going away, we find that the investment climate is not appropriate. It could be better. So there's not so much money that's being invested in creation of capacity, absorption of manpower. And so you'll find that that's an area that needs reforms. The second is that how do we incentivize innovation and product development? We are largely services-led IT companies in India. But I think we should have product companies which are innovation, IP-driven. We have a few IPs. We have more than 9 products with 3 patents in take. But it's been a struggle to get there. So I'd say that if the investment climate augurs IP creation and higher value addition, that would provide a better window for the next 20 years or so.
So is this really a good time for cheaper buyouts in the IT sector with the economic uncertainty putting the IT companies really on the back burner, ending up making the pricing more attractive for these companies? What's your take?
Yes, it is. And a number of companies, big and small, are looking out for attractive buys. So is Take Solutions. And we keep evaluating now and then. But since we are in a very niche sector, for us to find the right company is a little more difficult than services companies which are more broad-based. But it's certainly a great time for M&A activity in the sector.
Would cloud computing and enterprise mobility remain the two top priorities for the IT sector for the year going forward, which is 2014 we're talking about?
Enterprise mobility, yes. I think it's now mature. There are a number of devices which are very stable. There are stable technology platforms. There are transactions taking place. Cloud, yes, there are solutions, but I think it's way short of maturity at this point of time. So it's going to take a few more years before cloud computing settles down. Everyone understands the obvious benefits of cloud computing and that it'll be certainly value for money and cheaper. But what remains to be seen is some of the queries around safety of data, security of data, availability of audit trails. We are not past that yet. So cloud computing is very important, but I wouldn't say that we are exactly in a mature phase still.
But cloud computing is the clear future in your opinion?
Well, at the moment, yes. Still another innovation comes and replaces that.
That's very
and we never
well
know.
put. I know.
We never know the pace of innovation in this
I know.
world.
That's very, very well put.
Yeah.
On that note, it's a good time now for us to take a breather. We will see you on the other side of this break, where we will be discussing Mr. HR Srinivasan's passion for the green and his personal endeavor to promote golf as well in the country. So welcome back, and we're in conversation with Mr. HR Srinivasan of Take Solutions, who believes that excellence is the key to everything in life in general, which is why golf, which is why the IT sector, and he's proven his mettle on both fronts. Now let's discuss awards. You also organized the Take Solutions India Golf Awards as well. In the jury, leading the jury, of course, was Gary Player, who came down to India as well. Let's talk a little about Gary's game a little bit. Does his game excite you? Because Gary himself believes that Tiger Woods has been the best player that we've seen so far, of course, before he changed his swing. What's your take?
Well, there's not much debate on Tiger Woods and the fact that he's a great golfer, or perhaps the greatest golfer. But what's important to understand is about Gary. Gary was almost the first champion athlete golfer. Today's golfers, each one of them in the professional circuit, is a super athlete.
True.
But the first start of this was really Gary. And it's fitness, excellence, passion linking to golf, and the superb game, especially around the bunkers and the green that Gary used to play. It's phenomenal. I recently watched him, and I don't think he's lost any of that touch. He's fabulous.
Did he play around with you when he was
No, he didn't play around. But I was able to watch him from up close, and he's really awesome. I just wish that when I'm 79, I can play even remotely. I can continue playing. Forget playing like him.
Oh, we
just
all wish you
playing.
do. Now, about the golfing awards, let's talk a little more about that.
Right. See, it was important for us to recognize people who've been the best ambassadors of the game. It's not only the players, but past players, academies, amateurs, coaches. There are a number of people who make up the golfing fraternity. So if a sport needs to be encouraged, then at national level, we need to have some forum for recognition.
True.
And we are happy to be sponsoring that and coming up with this. Personally, I was very excited at the awards and the success it had, and I hope this will be the beginning for a number of golf awards to come up, which can encourage golfers, golf coaches, golf academies, golf courses. And
well, what I understand, Take Solutions, golf is a very organic part. It's almost like it's a vertical in the company. It's like, here we have this vertical, golf. Now let's conduct business. You also have another corporate tournament which is on the anvil. How much are you looking forward to it? What is it special that you're doing this year in the corporate tournament in Jan?
Well, in a sense, I think it's a very astute observation that golf is an integral part of Take Solutions. That way, it also brings out the DNA of the company. Whatever we take up to do, we want to have excellence there. And golf is a sport. So this corporate competition that we have, which is in its 9th year, we're going to have more than 1,000 players. And it primarily started to kindle the interest in golf amongst corporates. But seeing the success, we think we wanted to stay on with it. We've built it into a fabulous tournament, and now we've added the awards. Coupled with that, we also have pros who we sponsor now. So all in all, golf being in the DNA of the company is certainly a wonderful thing.
You've sponsored 2 pros for now.
Yeah.
Who are they and who next?
Well, currently we sponsor SSP Chaurasia, and who's been a winner on the European Tour twice.
Right.
And then we've recently, this year, we started sponsoring Kalin Joshi, who was India's #1 amateur, and he just turned pro. So Kalin is a great player. So these two will do well. Chaurasia, of course, is a well-known name, has been doing well over the last many years. And Kalin holds a lot of promise. And we're very keen for him to do well, and I'm sure he'll do well.
The way you train the junior golfers in India really will determine how the future professional golfers in India really pan out. Are we doing enough for the junior golfers at the moment? Are there enough programs? So, golf being a sport which is hard on your wallet, not many people do end up getting discouraged.
So this has a number of questions, so I'll break it down and answer it. So first, are we doing enough? Well, it's a difficult question to answer given the fact that we don't have enough international golfers coming out from India. I'd argue, no, we're not doing enough. But are the seeds sown for doing a lot? Yes. I think the junior golf programs at Chandigarh or Bangalore or Delhi or the Tamil Nadu Golf Federation in Chennai, they are doing hell of a lot in bringing youngsters. And when I say youngsters, they're all from upwards of ages of 6. And there are other places as well, including Delhi, where people who cannot afford even the basics of the game are being provided facilities, money, coaching to take up the game. In the next 5 years, you're going to see some very amazing players come out. And it's not only me who's saying that. It's Gary Player who looked at the junior golf program and he said, in the next 5 years, you're going to have some very amazing kids come out of this country to play golf.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see such undying passion for any sport for that matter. But for golf, where does it really, how did it all begin?
Well, it all began with my friend Venki Rajgopal, who's the chairman of Indian Terrain, and he used to play golf, and he told me that you must come up and pick up this sport.
How many years ago was this?
This was 2001. So no, where else in such sylvan surroundings you can meet such wonderful people and get to spend lots of time with them.
I see you're a man who loves networking on the green.
Yes, I do. On the green, off the green, I like networking. And golf certainly helps in doing that.
So is it networking that's driving you, or is it actually the game that drives you a lot?
It's the game that drives. Networking is completely incidental. And I think that's more a personality trait. It's not it's not an agenda, it's a personality trait.
Absolutely. So what is it about golf that helps you even in life in general? I mean, a lot of people who I've spoken to about you say that you're a very down-to-earth man. Does the game keep you grounded?
Oh, this game can keep anyone grounded, even the biggest golfers,
Why?
even the Tiger Woods, because one day you can have an awesome round and next day you would just not want to pick up the club, nothing would be going right. And it's more or less like life. You have the ups
such is life as well, of course.
You have the ups and downs. But what's important in golf, especially from a personality or a corporate standpoint, you need to keep your concentration on for 4 or 5 hours. It's not a sport where you can concentrate for 45 minutes and leave. One false shot and your round is messed up. So you need to keep that level of concentration for 4 or 5 hours. You meet fantastic gentlemen and ladies on the golf course. So it's a great place to meet.
All right, let's finish our game. Come.
Yep.
So now the 10th running year of Take Solutions Corporate Golf Challenge is what we're going to be witnessing in January. Congratulations firstly on that. What is it special that we're doing for 10 years, completing a decade of the longest corporate golf tournament by far in the country?
Well, it's exceptional, and it just looks like the other day when we started this. But yeah, to stay with the tournament and to build it up and to gain recognition and to be looked forward as a very important corporate golf tournament in the country always is a thrill. And on top of it, to be able to send quality golfers to the World Corporate Golf Challenge, and if they come back the winners or they come back with accolades, then that makes it even more thrilling. So that's what it's all about.
All right, so on that note, thank you so much for joining me today on TeeTime.
Thank you very much.
Indeed a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
That was HR Srinivasan and me, Chaiti Narula, signing off from TeeTime. I will see you next week again. Until then, as cliched as I always sound, may the sport be with you.